Good evening and welcome to last week's edition of Diaspora Connect on ITV Gold. I am Pia Jyoti Khachru, bringing you highlights from our South Asian community, celebration, achievements and events that made headlines across the diaspora. So let's take a look back at the top stories from the week gone by. We have this week with Padma Shri recipient Dr. Sudhir Parekh. Mayor-elect Mamadani names transition team as city braces for major budget gaps. Indian Consulate in New York hosts year-end media reception. World Vegan Vision New York marks Thanksgiving with focus on wellness and compassion. Indo-American Cultural Society hosts grand Christmas celebration in New Jersey. Stay with us on Diaspora Connect in detail right after the short break. Padma Shri recipient Dr. Sudhir Parekh, chairman of Parekh Worldwide Media and ITV Gold, shared his insights on current global events. Take a look.
And now, time for weekly show with a passionate India lover, chairman of ITV Gold and Parekh Worldwide Media. Get ready for loving sharing from physician, philanthropist, publisher, and India advocate in this week.
Namaskar and welcome to another episode of This Week with Dr. Sudhir Parekh right here on ITV Gold. And it's always a pleasure to have him, Dr. Padma Shri recipient Dr. Sudhir Parekh, right here talking to us, talking about the current events and answering your questions. And so, Dr. Parekh, namaskar.
Namaskar, all the ITV viewers.
So, Dr. Parekh, today let's start with India. India's exports are doing really well, growing at the fastest pace in 3 years. So tell me, are Trump tariffs actually affecting India?
Yeah, because tariff is not in action yet.
Okay.
So that's why it's not affecting, but it will affect,
Okay. So, my next question to you is the Trump team. It keeps on saying a trade deal with India is close, but India says it wants a proper win-win deal and there is no deadline. So tell me, how does this actually work?
So as far as I know, that from the whatever sources of news, that they have extended their deadline to till end of March. And so it's 3 more months. So still they are negotiating it. There are some difference in their opinion in a certain subject or certain items. So still they are negotiating it. And Indian government, our government is very, very hopeful that they will achieve something better than right now what's on the table.
All right. And some lawmakers in Congress from both parties, they have introduced a resolution to end Trump tariffs on India. So do you think this will help, or this would even make, dig President Trump more?
No, I don't think that kind of request President will consider at all. Because if he considers against one country, he has to consider against all countries. So then the whole idea of raising $1 trillion per year and make it this tariff, this whole free exchange of the goods throughout the world, currently what Trump administration thinks that it's not fair to America, and it should be fair. And if he does, so he's not going to. I don't think it's a non-starter. That there's all political rhetoric by these congressmen and senators, those who wants to please somebody or please us, India or whatever, But I don't think it has any leverage on the Trump administration.
But, what about Mexico? Mexico is imposing 50% tariffs on Indian goods. Tell me, how serious is that?
Well, again, it all depends upon what was previously tariff between India and Mexico. If India was charging X amount to, I'm just giving you an example, I don't know myself, but if India is charging X amount to Mexico for Mexican goods to India, and Mexico does not charge any goods from India or very little, then it's not fair as far as Mexico is concerned. So this is all very, because right now there is no structure. So they have to have structure, and that's why I think what Trump administration is doing is to try to once and for all make it fair to everybody. Of course, while doing that, he's making little unfair to certain countries like India or China. But he has, but he has to remove the other thing is that, if I put USA put the tariff on China, then China, and there is no, and on Vietnam there is only 10% tariff, then China will sell to Vietnam and Vietnam will sell to America. And that is not right thing to do either. And otherwise America loses the income, right? So that's why Trump, so if you look at in detail, in the deep detail, then I think what Trump is doing is good for America. But the way he's doing it, haphazardly, somebody has tariff of, Europe has only 15% and India has 50%, that's not good.
Right.
So everybody has to have 15 or 20%, not more. And both the country has to agree and open up their, the whole idea about world free trade is to open up your country for trade. But most of the countries, they don't do that. They only pick and choose which trade to come through and which trade is not come through.
Yes.
And that is makes this administration mad.
Okay. We have here a question from Anil from New Jersey. He's saying the US is offering security guarantees to Ukraine to try and break the deadlock in peace talks. Does this look like it could work?
I think so. It will work because Ukraine has not much choice, really, because Ukraine is losing a lot of army, a lot of resources, and they have to depend on the USA only because to get the armaments. Because Europe can just do verbal support, and at the most they write the check, but they cannot provide them all the equipments and armaments to defend themselves. And that's the problem. And that's why USA has more leverage than anyone else on Ukraine. And Ukraine gets security, then it's good for USA too. That way USA can save the Ukraine from the getting into Russia's fold,
But how do you see, how do you think Russia will see this move?
I think Russia, as long as Russia gets their whatever territory they won, and if they get most of that territory which they occupied or acquired, then Russia will not have any problem. But after going forward, USA has to make sure that Russia doesn't again, after 5 years, Russia should not again do the same thing. And that's all it is.
But do you think it will lead to a deal anytime soon?
I think so, because now Ukraine is kind of running out of thing, and because they found that there's a lot of corruption in Ukraine government too about all this defense equipment and armament. So I think it should happen. Otherwise, Russia has nothing to lose because it's a much bigger country, and they can keep coming back and they are using even proxy soldiers. They are using Chinese soldier and Vietnamese soldier and even Indian soldier to fight the Ukraine. You know that? So they don't have to lose anything.
All right. So, let's move on from there. Let's move on to President Trump is suing the BBC for defamation over how they edited this January 6th speech. And he is asking up to $10 billion in damages. So my question to you is it okay for a reputed media outlet like BBC? Does it make any sense to do that kind of stuff?
I think that BBC editor, if I know correctly, BBC editor has already accepted that they made some mistake there.
Okay.
And so after that admission, I think Trump is suing it. But anybody can sue anybody, right? That doesn't mean that the sue can go further because the court has to decide. And let's see, we'll wait and watch what court decides whether the suit has any validity or any good standing. Then suit will go further.
All right. Okay. And, the most talked about, let's talk about that. The most talked about movie right now is Durandar. And don't know if you watched it
No, I didn't watch it. Yeah,
but I'm sure you have you have been hearing it from a lot of people with Ranveer Singh and Akshay Khanna in there, and it's breaking records. So, but it has
It's
also...
in Netflix?
No, it's not on
Oh,
Netflix.
okay.
It's in...
It's in the news, I mean...
Yes.
no.
So, but it has also like sparked a lot of controversy. I'm sure you must have read it. It's a lot of controversy over like, bias. So my question to you is, should we take like movies like this seriously or just enjoy them for entertainment?
Well, I mean, basically, you have to enjoy for entertainment, but always it's a human nature. That when they see something and they want to take the sides. And even if they listen something, they take the sides. We all do that. I mean, we take side of the India and we take side of the some take side of the America and all those things. So that's human nature, and so I'm not surprised to if there is some controversial thing there, and people are taking a lot of hot discussion. I think that's also a kind of entertainment, really speaking.
All right. Okay. And my last question to you is, it's always been medical stuff, and I need your medical perspective, especially we have been going on it for like now weeks and weeks and talking about, the weather is very cold with holidays coming in. I would want you to give your tips for all our ITV Gold viewers.
No, I think weather is cold and you have to be very careful. When you go in the crowded events or crowded place, make sure that anybody next to you who's standing there and he's sniffling or coughing, just move yourself, and you cannot say anything to that person, but you should move. And ideally, the person who has a cold or any viral infection or flu should not go into social events. But we all are the same. Our all human being weaknesses. We always, even with the flu,
we want to go to events.
Yes,
doesn't
we
matter
always
what.
go to event, and
Yes.
we don't tell anybody that you have flu, and that's the way it is. So try to avoid crowded events, and take the flu shot if you have not taken it. Take the viral shots if you have not taken it, and take the COVID shots, because still winter is coming. Winter is not done. This is just fall. Fall ends on 21st of December. Still another week to go.
Absolutely.
And then winter comes, and then the majority of the flu and viral infection comes in January, February. And that's why if you are not getting vaccinated, please do vaccinate, and eat healthy, and be careful how you move in the society.
Absolutely. And before you give out this week's message, I want to tell all our viewers that, thank you so much, as this is the end of the year and you have been sending us questions so that Dr. Parekh can answer them for you. And thank you. And once again, keep on sending them to us. You can always send it to me, pia@itvgold.com. Or you can even just go and, send it directly to our production team, which is, again, production@itvgold.com. So, wanted to thank you for that, and also wanted to remind you all that you can follow Dr. Sudhir Parekh on Facebook @Dr. Parekh, and you can also follow him on Twitter. The handle is SUDPARIKH. Please go ahead, Doctor.
No, I mean, I think we should not keep the time for, because what we talk is all message anyway. So there's no need to repeat. But anyway, I can say that have a happy holidays. Christmas and New Year is coming. Make sure that enjoy yourself with the friends and family, and be ready with some kind of decision that in the new year what you're going to do, whether you're going to lose weight or you're going to eat less or you're going to give up the alcohol or whatever. So just do that and enjoy yourself. Thank you.
Mayor-elect Zohran Mamdani announced key transition appointments Wednesday in Brooklyn, tapping union leader Jamila Edwards and former city official Catherine Almonte to senior roles as his incoming administration confronts multi-billion-dollar budget deficits. The hires come as the city faces projected shortfalls driven by sluggish growth, potential federal funding cuts, and looming labor contracts, even as Mamdani pledges not to retreat from his affordability agenda.
Edwards will serve as the Director of Intergovernmental Affairs, and Kat Almonte will serve as the Director of the Mayor's Office of Appointments. New Yorkers have entrusted us with a responsibility. They voted for an administration that will work every day to make our city affordable and safe, to make the work of government efficient and excellent. We can deliver on this promise, we will, but only if we have the brightest minds in this city leading these efforts. In Jamila Edwards, to my left, that's exactly what New Yorkers can expect. There are few leaders with records of as much sustained ambition and proven achievement as Jamila. She possesses a deep knowledge of city government, having worked for borough presidents, public advocates, and the Department of Education. And she has spent the last 11 years leading the work done by DC 37, the largest public employee union in New York City, of which there are a few members here today, an organization deeply involved in nearly every facet of city government, from parks to sanitation to schools to the library workers that are here with us today. DC 37 represents the New Yorkers who keep this city running. She hasn't just held powerful roles, she has transformed what can be expected from them. The union I speak of is a mighty political force today, thanks in no small part to the efficacy of her organizing and the strategies she devised and implemented. And millions of New Yorkers have seen their wages rise, their lives improve, thanks to the $15 minimum wage hike that she helped to secure. When we are in City Hall, I will turn to Jamila to help us build the coalitions we need to enact durable solutions and secure the political relationships so necessary to follow through on these promises. None of this is abstract. Look where we are today, the Greenpoint branch of the Brooklyn Public Library. It is not simply a library. It is a monument to the power of political organizing. It is funded because of political negotiations. It is full of books because of budgetary decisions. It dispenses resources like career services and youth programming and citizenship classes because those with political power sought to do more with that power. And I cannot wait to see what Jamila can achieve, and I'm grateful to her for rededicating herself to public service. I'm also delighted that Kat DaCosta to my right will be joining our administration as the Director of the Office of Appointments. Kat will oversee our talent recruitment efforts and help us build a team as hardworking as the city we're seeking to represent. Raised in Queens, Kat has a deep connection to our city and an extraordinary history of working across both the private sector and city government to build organizations that are streamlined, that are productive, and that are staffed by people who understand and care about the work they were hired to do. Thank you, Kat, for all the work that you have been doing over the course of this transition and all the work that you will do to ensure that the promise of this transition is fulfilled in the work of day-to-day city government. What we want to do, the three of us and the entire team, is to restore faith in our democracy by returning excellence and compassion to public service. That can only happen if we embody that excellence from the very top of this administration. And with today's appointments, that's exactly what New Yorkers will be able to expect. Please join me now in giving a warm welcome to our new Director of Appointments, Kat DaCosta.
The Consulate General of India in New York hosted a year-end media reception on December 11th, bringing together journalists from mainstream and Indian American media for an evening of conversation and camaraderie. Hosted by Consul General Binaya Shrikant Pradhan, the year-end rendezvous at the Consulate on East 64th Street was a gesture of appreciation for the media's continued engagement and partnership.
Good evening, namaskar. Let me express my sincere thanks to each one of you for joining us today evening. This is an annual event we do kind of to thank friends from media for all the support we receive around the year. We have today friends from our ethnic media, we have friends from international media here, and we get constant support from both the sides around the year. The ethnic media helps us to reach out to the 2.4 million strong Indian diaspora that we serve, to inform the community about what is happening in India, what is happening in the India-US corridor, and what is happening within the community. So my sincere thanks to all the friends from ethnic media for the great job they are doing and helping us. I also thank the international media representatives for your support. Your objective coverage about India helps us in a great way to convey with objectivity where India stands today and what it stands for is not a small thing for us. So let me express my sincere thanks to all the members from international media here today. We look forward to that partnership in 2026 as well. Today, this is kind of an event which is more of a informal event where we don't have formal speeches or anything. It's more about meeting you in person, greeting you, knowing each other and to do a networking thing. So let me once again thank each one of you for joining us here today. Let me thank my colleagues, Consul PIC, who is head of the press wing, the Deputy Consul General, Vishal, who have put it together, and then having a kind of evening to enjoy, evening to network, evening to get to know each other. Thank you once again.
Good evening, everyone. I am Piyush Singh. I look after the political and press wing of the consulate. It is my pleasure to be here among you, and I look forward. Met so many of friends today and many others. And I have joined 6 months ago, and I am closely working with you all from last 6 months on various projects. And it has been a great, wonderful journey and learning experience in the last 6 months. And I look forward to continue to work for the next 2 years in my tenure.
Consul General Pradhan, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. I'm embarrassed to say that at the age of 55 and after a long career in journalism that has taken me across the globe, I had not visited India until May of this year, and I was fortunate to go back in October. Visiting India and beginning the long journey of immersing myself in and understanding your country's great history and rich culture have been the highlight of my year. It was my great honor to interview Minister Ashwini Vaishnav on stage last month at our Bloomberg New Economy Forum in Singapore, and also have initiated dialogues with other members of Prime Minister Modi's cabinet and officials in the Prime Minister's office. And I'm deeply honored that you would ask me to offer a few words here at the consulate today. Amazingly, as of today, no one has yet brought one of the world's global economic affairs conferences to India, and that is about to change. I'm pleased to tell you here today, and proud to tell you here today, that Bloomberg is taking the New Economy Forum to New Delhi on October 13th to 15th, 2026.
Storytelling through graceful movements in the form of dance.
The New York chapter of World Vegan Vision hosted its annual Thanksgiving luncheon in Roslyn Heights, bringing together community members, healthcare professionals, and wellness advocates. Held at Mahal Restaurant, the event highlighted plant-based living through discussions on nutrition, longevity, sustainability, and ethical mindfulness.
Pleasure to introduce the person who all you waiting to listen to him. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my pleasure to introduce our distinguished keynote speaker, Dr. Sumit Behal. Dr. Bell is a board-certified radiologist, vascular interventional radiology. Dr. Bell is widely respected for his expertise in minimum invasive life-saving procedures. Dr. Bell serves on several medical boards as Conning Health, Hip Hop is Green, and Plant Power Metro New York. That's great. Dr. Bell has nearly 30 years of experience in meditation. He is deeply committed to expanding the collective consciousness of humanity. His daily practice shapes not only just the personal life, but also his mission to promote compassionate living. He is a dedicated vegan and enthusiastic weightlifter. He believes that our food choices influence far more than our health. They are tied to well-being and liberation of all living beings. Please join me in welcoming the inspiring and compassionate Dr. Sumit Behal. And also please give big round of applause to Mr. H.K. Shah and Malti Ben and Rakesh Bhargavaji for putting up this event. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that warm introduction and for having me here today. So, as she said, my name is Sumit. Just call me Sumit. If you ever talk to me, don't call me Dr. Ball. I'm very informal. I cannot tell you how excited I am to be here. I became vegan about 8 years ago now. My inspiration was my Masi, who lives in New Delhi, and this film, What the Health. Has anyone ever seen What the Health before? You've seen it, okay. It should still be on Netflix. I'm not sure if it is. That film changed how I view veganism. I thought vegans were crazy at one point because I said, nothing harms the animal. I was already vegetarian for 20 years by this point. I said, it doesn't really harm the animal. Then, because of the work that individuals like you in this room do, I was exposed to what the animal agriculture industry is like. What are the effects on the environment? So these are the things that started changing how I view my own life and how I want to carry out my message to everyone else as a physician. As she mentioned, I'm a vascular interventional radiologist. I don't know if most people know what an interventional radiologist is. I hope you never have to run into anyone like us because the things that we do are so nuanced that you really should just try to avoid us if you can. But basically, it's minimally invasive image-guided procedures is what we do. And I've also added in diagnostic radiology. So I read a lot of CAT scans, X-rays, MRIs, ultrasounds, and the number of things that I see on these things that were so preventable. And I'm seeing 20-year-olds that are morbidly obese with their gallbladder removed. I see these all the time. I said, 20. So if I'm seeing the scan now, when was the gallbladder removed? At 15? You know? And so these things are associated with high-fat diets, for example. A lot of them animal protein, a lot of animal fat. So this is the inspiration for this talk. So what I'm going to do is take you through a couple of aspects here. Now, the name of this talk, if anyone saw the flyer, is the spiritual and scientific benefits of veganism. Why the spiritual side? As you introduced, I have about almost 30 years of meditation experience. I've been doing it since I was 14 years old. I had my first you could say, existential crisis into what is consciousness, what is life, where do we go when we die, when I was 10 years old. And I asked my mom, and she had this talk with me, and that changed my life. And ever since then, I said, I want to bring the practice into my own life. And as I was doing that, more and more things started to expand. And that was the thing, that as I got deeper into deeper into my own practice, I started thinking about what is the impact of the actions that I do on the rest of the world. And that's where veganism came in. So in line with World Vegan Vision's 3 main goals, if you don't know what they are, they're on their website, and they're very well laid out as you've done. Health, environment, and animal rights. And I'm going to take you through all 3 of those in this talk to see how I view those, and the animal rights part, because of my meditation background, from a spiritual perspective. So what you're going to see on this slide is these slides were provided by Plant Powered Metro New York. I don't know if you've ever heard of Plant Powered Metro New York. Yeah, okay, great. So a lot of fans here. Liana will be very proud to hear this. But Plant Powered Metro New York is an organization that's done a lot of proactive work in bringing communities together to expand both online, in-person resources to understand the benefits of a plant-based diet. So we talked about physical health. When they asked me to do this talk, of course, that was the first thing that everyone wants to know. They want to hear from a doctor. What you're not always hearing about is the environmental aspect. And I know World Vegan Vision has made an effort to make sure that we talk about the environment as well and the environmental impact. So what are the benefits of a vegan diet when it comes to the environment? Reduce greenhouse gas emissions and global warming. Why is that the case? So there's a couple of greenhouse gases. The most common one we talk about is CO2. That's the one everyone wants to always talk about, right? And that's the one that all the various summits in the world, when all the world leaders get together, they keep talking about reducing CO2 emissions. Why don't you hear them talk about methane or nitrous oxide? There's a reason you don't hear them talk about it, because those 2 are related to animal agriculture. They just keep talking about, if we keep mentioning CO2, we can say, oh, we need to reduce our dependence on fossil fuels, we need to reduce our dependence on transportation and change everything to electric vehicles. That's a fraction of what the problem is. What you may not realize, and if you've watched, again, What the Health and some other documentaries like that, we're producing more greenhouse gases from animal agriculture than the entire transportation industry combined. That is very substantial, but why are none of the world leaders at these summits talking about it? Because it's harder to change what's on your palate, on your plate and on your palate. That's what's harder to do. The other benefit of a vegan diet is maintenance of forests. Plant-based agriculture requires less deforestation, maintains biodiversity, and improves carbon capture and sequestration. This is the funny thing. Right now, you've got multi-billionaires trying to solve the energy crisis. And what they're trying to say is, we need a very effective means to capture all the carbon, because if carbon is the problem, our carbon output, our carbon footprint, especially if I'm Mark Zuckerberg and I run this huge conglomerate of AI and everything, I'm producing lots and lots of carbon output, oh, well, I need to reduce it. But you're clearing a lot of land to consume the meat and dairy that you want when you could have just maintained the trees. The simple solution was right there. It's always been there. It's the trees. They're your own natural carbon capturing and sequestration mechanism. Also, the environmental impact is less water usage. Do you know how much water it takes to produce 1 pound of beef? 1,800 gallons. 1,800 gallons. For one cup of black beans, 46 gallons. 1,800, I know, everyone's really surprised over here. I'm loving seeing everyone's face. That much water. And everyone's wondering, where's all the water? Where's all the water? We're consuming it. We're breeding animals, then killing them, and we're only doing it for 1 pound of beef just to be able to do that. Yeah, it's pretty remarkable. Also, by adopting a vegan diet, less water pollution. Why? So one of the things that goes into our water waste is nitrous oxide. Nitrous oxide comes, it's part of fertilizer. So imagine these animals are consuming all of the greens and everything on the land that they live on. It's coming out in their stool. It's going into water runoff. Nitrous oxide is 300 times more powerful from a global warming perspective than CO2. Methane that the cows produce is around 16 to 20 times more powerful. So we talk about, again, we keep talking about CO2, but really methane and nitrous oxide have more global warming potential than CO2. Again, this goes back to it. It's all very intentional by the government and leaders, is to not talk about the major preventable aspects. With regard to greenhouse gas emissions per kilogram of food product, beef by far more greenhouse gas emissions. Look down here, nuts, potatoes, bananas, wheat and rye, peas, minimal greenhouse gas effect. This is what we're seeing right now. And as you know, what's inevitable? If this number of trees was taken down, you know these ones are waiting to go. And this is happening at an alarming rate. So this brings me to this last part. The part that is most near and dear to my heart, which everyone has their own story for why they went vegan. Sometimes it's health, sometimes it's the environment, and sometimes it might be because of compassion. Whatever your road is that leads you there, just get there somehow. And for me, I know I used to be very much a purist, and it was very much vegan or nothing. And as I've gotten to know that as we look around, there's 8 billion people in this world, and everyone's ethos is different, everyone's access is different. But veganism at its core is about kindness and compassion. And I will urge everyone to be kind to everyone who's not living the same way you are, because then if you're, I've spoken to some of the vegan activist community about this. I said, if you're yelling in people's face and you're not being kind to them, you're missing the point of veganism. Right? So it all starts with you, but be the change, right? Everyone knows that line, be the change you wish to see in the world. I don't even have to tell you who said that line, you know who it was. It was Gandhi. So I want to read a couple of these things. Ahimsa. Ahimsa, people often will say, is non-violence. Actually, the literal term is non-injury. Ahimsa is the highest dharma. Ahimsa is the highest self-control. Ahimsa is the greatest gift. Ahimsa is the best practice. Ahimsa is the highest sacrifice. Ahimsa is the finest strength. Ahimsa is the greatest friend. Ahimsa is the greatest happiness. Ahimsa is the highest truth, and ahimsa is the greatest teaching. This is from the Anushasana Parva in the Mahabharata. So it's right there in our literature. Next one. Buddhism. All beings tremble before danger. All fear death. When a man considers this, he does not kill or cause to kill. Guru Nanak. All living beings are his. He is the Lord and Master of all. From the Guru Granth Sahib. From the Old Testament. And God said, behold, I give you every plant that produces seeds upon the earth, and every tree that has fruit with its seed inside of it. These shall be your food. And I give all green plants to every wild animal, and to all the birds of the air, and to all creatures that move upon the surface of the earth, and that have the breath of life in them. And it was so. Why did I mention this picture? Yeah. So, yes, that's me. Okay? That's me right there. A little shameless promotion. No. Why I'm showing you this. When I was doing this program, I'll tell you about it. It's called KMAC Fitness. Some people had mentioned it to me before. They'd seen me on it. It's a largely South Asian-based fitness program. They're helping. The transformations are incredible. I did this program for one reason and one reason alone. I've been largely fit for most of my life. The reason I did this is I told the founder of the program, I want to be a walking billboard for veganism. That's why I did this. This is not about me. This is literally, I don't care if you can replace me with someone else. If someone else has a bigger voice, then I'd rather put that person up there. What I want people to know is when I walk around and they see this physique, I want them to know, when they ask me, what did you do? Everyone always wants to know what the question was. And they want to know, what did you eat? What did you eat? And they're expecting me to say, oh, I have meat with a side of meat and I'm protein. That's what they're expecting me to say. No, I eat plants. That's what I eat. Don't tell me it requires a meat-heavy diet or it requires dairy. And so if I can walk around, thank you. So if I can walk in the room and this is, and unfortunately, this is what society rewards more than anything else, right? But this is a fraction of what we're all about. But I know that when I walk in the room, it speaks for itself. People want to know. And if I can open up the doors to compassion for all beings because of the way I look, then I accomplish something. That's ultimately what I want to be able to do. And I think everyone's capable to some degree or another in this room.
The Indo-American Cultural Society of USA, Inc. hosted its annual Christmas celebration on Saturday, December 13 at Royal Albert's Palace in Fords, New Jersey, drawing hundreds of attendees for an evening of festive celebration. Enjoy the highlights.
एक युग जहां सच और पवित्रता का दीपक सदा जलता था। इस युग में भक्ति और शुद्धता का ऐसा प्रकाश था जो हर अंधकार को मिटा देता था।
Everyone is here, and the most important, Santa Claus has come from North Pole to here to celebrate Christmas holidays. Happy Christmas, Merry Christmas, and Happy Holidays, and you all have a beautiful, happy, healthy, and prosperous New Year. Yeah.
Lovely kids, and it was a nice party. I didn't know it was going to be this many kids and this many parties. But I really enjoyed being here tonight, and hope that I'll get to see a few of you over the course of tonight. Thank you so very much. And a hello.
Vishal Bhamni is the son of my dear friend Rajiv Bhamni. There is a Vishal Bhamni. Okay. And the honest town is the dentist. I believe Girish Soni and Damini Soni are not here. I believe Naina and Paksa. Anybody here? Naina and Paksa. Thank you.
My name is Dr. Mukund Thakur and we are here to enjoy the Peter Kothari's Christmas party. This is a very nice party today. This is the last party of the year, so people are enjoying this party. There are a lot of food, a lot of people. They know each other and they are enjoying the party. Thank you. Thank you, ITV Gold. Thank you so much.
Hi, this is Indira Daga from Allied Care. We are home care agency. We provide home care services to elderly and disabled people who has Medicaid. We are here. We are one of the presenting sponsor of this event. This event, the Indo-American Cultural Society, organized by Peter Kothari, and this party is amazing. His organizing skill, discipline, food, entertainment. It's like wholesome party, and as every year he does a good job, and nobody can do how he does by himself, by single-handed. And thank you so much, and Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays.
Today is Saturday, 13 December. For 34 years, Indo-American Cultural Society of USA, Inc. is celebrating Christmas, and always event is well supported by the community. Lot of men, women and children are enjoying delicious food, cocktails and a beautiful DJ and music, and I'm happy about it. I'm about the age I am getting tired, but after the success of the event I feel very good, and we want to appreciate that every year for last 34 years we have been celebrating this event, and I'm happy about it. Thank you. Merry Christmas to everyone. Happy, healthy, wealthy and prosperous New Year to all those who are watching this event on ITV Gold. I also want to thank Dr. Sudhir Parikh for supporting us. Appreciate it. Thank you.
And that's a wrap on Diaspora Connect. Send community news to events@itvgold.com or pi@itvgold.com. Follow ITV Gold on Facebook. Subscribe on YouTube. Read News India Times at newsindiatimes.com or call 212-675-7515 to subscribe. This is Pia Jyoti Kachru signing off.